Whether crypto, advanced, or unspeakably new, Bitcoin.com has a wallet for you.
This upload is part of a series. With permission, Dave Ridley is converting Crypto Insider articles to audio files about 20 minutes long. This can help you learn about the alternate currency world while you are eating or driving. Daily Roundup, November 7, 2017, posted by Kyle Torpy. Vertical line, November 7, 2017. Daily Roundup, November 7, 2017. According to TechCrunch, a major vulnerability has frozen hundreds of millions of dollars of Ether on the Ethereum platform. According to CoinDesk, the aftermath of today's parity wallet multi-sig bug has left the Ethereum community in a possible crisis. According to Bloomberg, Bitcoin ETFs are likely to follow the availability of Bitcoin futures. This is according to the president of CBOE. According to Bloomberg, Bitcoin has overtaken buy gold as an online search phrase. According to Reuters, Chairman Emeritus of CME Group Leo Melamed has said Bitcoin will become a new asset class in its own right, much like gold or stocks. Next Crypto Insider article follows. SegWit2x hard fork called off. Bitcoin price hits all-time high, posted by Daniel Dalton. Vertical line, November 8, 2017. SegWit2x hard fork called off. Bitcoin price hits all-time high. SegWit2x cancelled due to lack of sufficient consensus. The SegWit2x development team has called off any plans for the SegWit2x hard fork, previously set for mid-November. The report, published only an hour ago, was co-signed by the 2X figureheads, including Eric Voorhees of Shapeshift fame and Jeff Garzik, the lead developer on the BTC1 repo. Jihan Wu of Bitmain, Wences Casares of Zapo, and investment banker Peter Smith are also co-signatories. Mike Belche, CEO of BitGo, sent out the email. The report states that their goal has always been a smooth upgrade for Bitcoin. For anyone who has been active on social media, GitHub repos, or even just chatting to Bitcoin evangelists, it would have been clear that the SegWit2x change was anything but a smooth upgrade. In a sudden turn of events, the SegWit2x figureheads stated that their dedication to keeping the Bitcoin community together trumped their beliefs over on-chain scaling and big blocks. It is clear that we have not built sufficient consensus for a clean block size upgrade at this time. Continuing on the current path could divide the community and be a setback to Bitcoin's growth. This was never the goal of SegWit2x. All plans for the upcoming 2 MB upgrade have been suspended until clear and present consensus can be achieved. The use of the term upcoming in the report showed clear intentions to continue pushing the rhetoric of on-chain scaling and big blocks, despite the majority of the community's focus being on scaling through off-chain solutions such as the Lightning Network. Bitcoin price skyrockets at the time of publishing. Bitcoin is rocketing past $7,700 USD. In stark contrast, SegWit2x futures have crashed from $1.2k USD to $300 USD in under the span of an hour. This free fall ought to continue to $0 USD. As the chain split tokens only have value in the event of a hard fork. Screenshot captured at 10:10 GMT. Update: SegWit2x futures now recovered $450 USD in the interim. The only explainable cause is unsubstantiated speculation. Update 2:21H30. Futures now down to $200 USD. While the report had intentions of mitigating potential damages to the Bitcoin community, it's clear that many people who bought into the SegWit2x hard fork are paying the price in cold hard crypto. In line with Bitfinex's chain split T&C, all split BD2 tokens representing SegWit2x will be worthless. In the case of BD2, SegWit2x shall be deemed to exist only if a blockchain has diverged incompatibly from the incumbent blockchain. Any settlements of BD2 shall be to B2X. If no SegWit2x blockchain exists pursuant to these T+CS, BD2 tokens shall be deemed to have a value equal to 0 and shall be removed from the platform. Bitcoin veterans who saw uncertainty in the SegWit2x hard fork made sure to steer clear, but newbies, enthusiastic traders hoping to make a quick buck, and those who genuinely believed in figureheads like Mike Belshé and Jeff Garzik are now suffering. It's a tough lesson learned in trying to circumvent decentralized governance. We want to thank everyone that contributed constructively to SegWit2x, whether you were in favor or against. Your efforts are what makes Bitcoin great. Bitcoin remains the greatest form of money mankind has ever seen, and we remain dedicated to protecting and fostering its growth worldwide. Mike Belshé, Wenceslas Javon, Jeff Garzik, Peter Smith and Eric Voorhees. These words are sure to leave a bitter taste in the mouths of those affected. Stick to this space for further updates. Next Crypto Insider article follows. Daily Roundup, November 8, 2017, posted by Kyle Torpy. Vertical line, November 8, 2017. Daily Roundup, November 8, 2017. Over on the SegWit2x mailing list, BitGo CEO Mike Belshé announced he and other major supporters of the SegWit2x proposal are withdrawing their support for next week's hard fork. According to Business Insider Singapore, a small band of trading specialists are taking calls about $50 million Bitcoin deals. Over at Bitcoin.com, a public service announcement had previously been published that stated the company will shift all company resources to Bitcoin Cash in a situation where the 2x part of the SegWit2x proposal failed to activate. According to CoinDesk, a Secret Service has received extra jail time due to his theft of Bitcoins from former darknet market Silk Road. According to South China Morning Post, the Islamic State calls for donations through social media and use Bitcoin and PayPal to move their money. Next Crypto Insider article follows. Global Wi-Fi, brought to you by Mesh Networks, posted by Dylan Deddy. Vertical line, November 9, 2017. Global Wi-Fi, brought to you by Mesh Networks. Essentially, what we have in the years to come, I believe, is global Wi-Fi. I believe almost everyone in the world will have the ability to or have access to own a phone, said Jamie Smith, Global Chief Communications Officer of Bitfury during an interview on Laura Shin's Blockchain Unchained podcast. She's not the only one to think that, either. Mark Zuckerberg has made an effort to wire up the world via drone satellites, and many companies and organizations are trying to find the best possible solution for this. Mesh networks offer a decentralized solution to global Wi-Fi that could happen much quicker than proliferation of satellite drones. Why not pass internet through smart devices that we already own? Smartphones have Wi-Fi, hotspot, and Bluetooth capabilities already that can pass on the Internet. Mesh networks use nodes, or router points, to give access to devices that aren't near an Internet port. Right Mesh is an example of a mesh network that is working with existing smart devices to create Internet connections. By simply owning the smartphone, you can activate hotspot mode, and other smart devices will be able to find you and connect to your signal. In dense environments, such as campuses and offices, Right Mesh excels and is able to transmit several Mbps from the technology they are implementing. From RightMesh.io long distance. What if you want to create distance between the router and the receiver? Our phones don't quite have the signal for this yet. Xamarin offers a hotspot device that users bring around with them, which allows them to trade bandwidth with other participating Xamarin users. Xamarin tokens are used to buy bandwidth from whoever you may be taking from at that point in time. With enough users, it can really create a decentralized Internet space where users can become the network. Xamarin has already received official endorsements from Guinea-Bissau, Uganda, Republic of Congo, Gambia, and Sierra Leone. Hardware mesh networking versus software mesh networking. Both approaches have advantages. Mesh networks such as Bright Mesh take advantage of existing infrastructure to create our mesh. This software could potentially be hardware agnostic, having the ability to be implemented not just in our smartphones, but in much bigger routers, cell towers, etc. But this is a huge undertaking. Xamarin's Wi-Fi hotspot is easy to use with an already rather large range capacity. There will be multiple models that will give out either higher range with less LTE throughput, or vice versa. You can see models on page 23 of the white paper. But to connect the entire world with a specific product may be complicated. This is also a huge undertaking. But it must be done, one way or the other, before Zuck beats us to it. Access to the Internet is becoming essential for competing with any market. The longer people go without access, the greater the divide will become in socio-economic playing fields. Mesh networks will not only decentralize the network, they will give users the ability to create their own version of the Internet. The localized Internet is community building, and if all of the information is just on a few devices that are used by the mesh, then they technically have their own server. The coffee shop could create a mesh device with a chat room on it that could be accessed just by those who are in the coffee shop. That chat room could help bring total strangers sharing the same space together, as it does get easier to communicate when it's not face-to-face. In fact, Sarah Grant did just this with Subnodes, a project that turned the Raspberry Pi computer $50 into a local web server with a chat room. Whether on a large scale or in a coffee shop, mesh networks make it possible to get Internet in places that we normally wouldn't. It can bring together local communities and even create its own server and Internet platform. Maybe we will be able to create a mesh network big enough to compete with the Internet that we see today, which has sadly been swallowed up by Google and Facebook. Mesh networks are already helping in disaster relief situations, such as the most current in Puerto Rico. Next Crypto Insider article follows. Parity code bug blocks over $150M of funds, to fork or not to fork. posted by the 3D vertical line November 9, 2017. Parody code bug blocks over $150M of funds. To fork or not to fork. The recent software bug within an Ethereum-based wallet named Parody has led to funds valued at over $150M permanently locked away. The only suggested solutions are to either perform a hard fork in an attempt to recover the locked funds, or to respect the conditions of immutability and consider them lost. Background: there was once a time when the phrase immutability and code is law was proudly thrown around by the Ethereum and DAO community. Stefan Tool at Stefan Tool on Ethereum. Code is law. It's the network's participants that determine its evolving rules, voting by way of updating their software. 6:08 p.m. July 17, 2016. 1313 replies, 3333 retweets, 5050 likes. Twitter ads, info and privacy. An article focused on the DAO experiment highlights notions of code is law and states that the DAO represents the first large-scale public application of code as law. As many may recall, the DAO failed tragically, remaining to be the crypto version of the Hindenburg disaster, though thankfully nobody was physically harmed or lost their life as a result. It seems that code was law, with a small invisible disclaimer at the bottom stating unless it does not go as planned. As mentioned post-DAO. April 18. Joshua Unseth at Unseth replying to @Vitalik Buterin and for others. Turing complete was the entire value proposition of the $death chain. Vitalik. Neil M. Metrics No at Red Pill Trading. Let's not forget immutable and code is law, both of which have been thrown out the window. 6:24 p.m. April 18, 2017. 2 replies, 11 retweet, 24 likes. Twitter ads, info and privacy. If you are confused about some of the mentioned terms, let us go back and approach this with an overview. Ethereum was launched in 2014 with the promise of allowing smart contracts to be written and executed directly on top of their blockchain. To explain this better, you can look at it as a traditional legal contract digitally formatting code as opposed to jurisdictional laws. In contrast to jurisdictional laws, once the digital contract is executed, it is in automation and cannot be reversed, much like sending an amount of Bitcoin to someone. The DAO hack this created a lot of excitement within the cryptid sphere, though the excitement reached a peak when a project proposed that the very framework of its decentralized investment firm would operate on a smart contract. This meant that investors were able to vote on the proposals and overall direction of the organization without direct human input or board members involved. Your voting weight was dependent on your initial investment. This project was called DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization, and proudly proclaimed that the code is law. Unfortunately, things did not go as planned and 14% of all Ethereum tokens were lost due to a poorly audited smart contract. The response to recover the stolen funds was a hard fork, which is referenced to as Ethereum today. Those who refused to sacrifice immutability, the core principle of blockchains, retained the original Ethereum blockchain in the form of Ethereum Classic. The blog post on the author website highlights this event by stating that crushed code is bad code. The DAO was crushed. The DOS vulnerable soft fork was crushed. If you ask me, Rushing the hard fork would be a huge mistake. Solidity, Ethereum's smart contract language, and the contract itself both play a part here. You could argue that a newly developed language without any global auditing or use should have never been tested with a project that raised $150M until it was given more time to find and patch such vulnerabilities. Others may argue that this had nothing to do with Ethereum but rather the way the smart contract was written, despite it being audited by leading Ethereum developers. The strange thing is that even the founders of this project made a post acknowledging the issue days prior to the hack, though this did not change the outcome. Our team is blessed to have Dr. Christian Ariatwai, father of Solidity, as its advisor. During the early development of the DAO Framework 1.1 and thanks to his guidance we were made aware of a generic vulnerability common to all Ethereum smart contracts. We promptly circumvented this so-called recursive call vulnerability or race to empty from the DAO Framework 1.1, so here is where we start to consider some aspects of such situations. To move past centralization we must be able to trust proposed decentralized networks. Bitcoin's network has been able to prove without a doubt that it is capable of handling billions of dollars worth of funds without failure. The parity incident Ethereum's smart contracts on the other hand have shown to be vulnerable on several occasions, including the most recent accidental kill switch on Parity's multi-sig wallets which has locked away a large sum of funds as of November 6. The final figure is still unknown, but speculative figures estimate locked funds to be between $150 to $250M. The number of wallets affected has been officially stated by Parity to be 584. All wallets affected were implementations of multi-sig contracts deployed from July 28 which were created in response to an earlier bug that led to a $32M hack of Ether. On the latest incident, this is the official statement from the Parity team. We very much regret that yesterday's incident has caused a great deal of stress and confusion amongst our users and the community as a whole, especially with all the speculation surrounding the issue. We continue to investigate the situation and are exploring all possible implications and solutions. Blockchain and related technologies are a vanguard area of computer science. Our mission remains to build software to power the decentralized web. For context, multi-signature, also referred to as multi-sig, wallets allow you to share the ownership of the wallet between several people, usually 3, though it can be more. It is a very secure approach to handling funds, especially when dealing with ICO or foundation funds. This approach ensures that no one person can sign off on a transaction if they are compromised through a hack or if they choose to run away with the money. Parity is the most commonly used multi-sig wallet when dealing with Ethereum. You can check whether your Parity wallet has been affected by the recent incident via affected.parity.io. The conversation now revolves around the proposed solution being a hard fork following the same trajectory as the DAO incident. What can we learn from such incidents? For one, Solidity is a new language that has yet been given the time to mature. Until such a time, it will have vulnerabilities and flaws. On the other hand, Parity seems to have patched one bug while missing to spot another. Hopefully we can see some updates on what can be done and to see funds unlocked and returned to their rightful owners, though at this stage the only viable solution is pointing to a hard fork.
Why does the world look like this? Well, it's because you're using these instead of these. Admittedly, so am I sometimes. But if you're not using Bitcoin yet, you're missing the boom of the century. So, go to bitcoin.com, get their free wallet, find out what it's like to be in a free market. Whether crypto, advanced, or unspeakably new, bitcoin.com has a wallet for you.